Welcome to today's session. My name is Sabina Joseph. I lead our infrastructure, business applications, and vertical ISVs globally. I'm pleased to be joined today by Andy Verhola, who is a senior manager for ISV success in the US West, and by Mike Moss, associate vice president for worldwide partner field sales at MongoDB. Well, AWS helps tens and thousands of ISVs worldwide to build and grow your business on AWS. One of those foundational elements is co-selling. Today, we'll walk through what does co-selling mean with AWS, what are some of the funding mechanisms and resources that are available to help you co-sell with us, and then some best practices around co-selling. We will close with some stories from ISVs who have successfully built co-selling relationships with us. So what does co-selling mean on AWS? Co-selling is a sales motion where your sales team and our sales team is working together on an opportunity, either to grow net new business or to close the existing opportunity and support each other, and then also open up net new relationships between the both of us at the customer. Co-selling does not mean that where we are selling your solution on your behalf or vice versa. Some ways you can start co-selling is for both of the sales teams to hop on a call and understand how we can support each other, understand the value proposition, and then obviously successfully close that deal together. When both teams engage together on an opportunity, it really increases the value for the customer. Some of the benefits of co-selling together from AWS: access to our millions of customers worldwide who have built a relationship with the AWS brand and have deep expertise around our breadth and depth of services. And then, of course, our mature global sales team who has expertise not just on AWS, but the various use cases and workloads as listed on this slide. AWS Marketplace, where hundreds and thousands of customers are actually finding, deploying, and buying your software solutions. And finally, the AWS Partner Organization, where we are helping you with both building and growing your business on AWS. So what does the flywheel look like, right? We work backwards from the customer. That's how we do things within Amazon and within AWS. We call this the flywheel, where we are actually increasing value and at the same time lowering prices for our customers. We start with lowering prices, which actually generates more customers, which in turn generates more AWS usage and increases our footprint across the breadth and depth of AWS services. And all of this, of course, increases the economies of scale, further lowering costs and enabling us to reduce prices for you. Co-selling is the very same flywheel. We start by building an innovative and differentiated solution together. This actually enables us to then build a better together story and value proposition. This leads us to do demand generation, which, as we all know, demand generation leads to opportunities. These opportunities are the very first step to start co-selling together. We take these opportunities, we share it with each other, and we start engaging together in the field to understand the value proposition, what are the relationships, what are the customer pain points, and ultimately, we work together to win the opportunity. These wins lead to more customer success stories. The customer success stories then enables our field to work more closely together, building that trust, seeing how we can replicate that success story at other customers. This, of course, leads to the flywheel of more success stories. And then, of course, getting feedback from those customers to continue to improve and innovate upon the solution. So how does the AWS Partner Network help you build a successful co-selling partnership with us? The three pillars of any successful partnership is co-build, co-market, and co-sell. And the teams that you generally work with during this process is the AWS Partner Organization, AWS Marketplace, and the AWS field teams. Within the AWS Partner Organization, which is where my team is at, we have the Partner Development Manager and the Partner Solutions Architect to help you build and scale your business on us. And we are accountable for your success on AWS. So how does AWS support you in your co-sell journey? The very first step is joining SoftwarePath and enrolling in the AWS or the APN Customer Engagements Program. SoftwarePath actually is a program that is exclusively designed for software partners like yourself to help you build and integrate your solutions onto AWS, build net new solutions on AWS, and ultimately help you grow your business on AWS. As part of this, we have the foundational technical review, which helps you optimize your solution for our mutual end customers. And SoftwarePath also provides many different funding mechanisms, tools, and resources to help you along this journey. Next is the APN Customer Engagements Program. This is actually a platform which enables your sales team, your marketing teams, and our sales teams and our marketing teams to actively actually work together on opportunities. It's a platform that enables us to bi-directionally share opportunities and, of course, hold each other accountable on those opportunities that we've shared with each other. The very next step is actually engaging together and building out a comprehensive, what we called as a business plan or a partner plan. This can include many different things. The first thing would be to understand how are we going to continue to innovate in a calendar year on that solution? What are some sales plays and campaigns that we want to run? What are some geos that we want to focus on? Let's try to prioritize those geos. And then also, what is our AWS marketplace strategy? What is our channel strategy? And then, of course, this partner plan leads to a better together story, focused on identifying the use cases that we want to drive those demand generation activities towards. All of this, of course, gets documented in collateral, which gets shared with our mutual field. At this point, you can also think about, hey, what can I do to look at the competency program? It's a program where you can showcase your validated solutions by workloads. At this point, it's great opportunity to start co-selling together by sharing those opportunities in the APN Customer Engagements tool, the platform called ACE. Both sales teams can then start engaging on a specific opportunity, building that trust, understanding the value proposition, and ultimately close that opportunity successfully. And then we document those success stories and we start over again, doing some account planning, sharing more opportunities to start generating even more wins and trust between each other, and ultimately continue to innovate and improve that solution through that customer feedback mechanism, again, working backwards from the customer. I think I just mentioned the AWS Competency Program, where you can list your software solutions by industry, by solution, and by overall workloads. There are 27 different ways that you can do this today. Once you have actually laid this foundation, you are welcome to join the ISV Accelerate program, which further deepens that co-selling relationship. Some of the benefits of this program, when our team actually engages with you, an ISV Accelerate partner, and helps you close an opportunity, they're entitled to a one-time cash incentive called an ISV SPIF. Further, our sales team actually takes on co-sell goals with the partner management team for ISV Accelerate partners. This can be about helping you close opportunities, numbers of opportunities they're going to help you close that you've shared with us through ACE, or even sharing opportunities back with you to help you generate new business. And then, of course, ISV Accelerate partners have access to the ISV Success Manager, what we call as ISMs. The ISMs are actually embedded in our field, and they help you get closer to our field on those opportunities that we want to co-sell on. And finally, if you as a software company are transacting those software solutions on AWS through either AWS Marketplace or AWS Data Exchange, not only does our sales team get additional cash incentives, but you are also entitled to discounted reduced fees for private offers. Let's talk a little bit about AWS Marketplace and how it helps our partners. Over 300,000 customers actually find, test, buy, and deploy software solutions in AWS Marketplace. Many different partners like Sumo Logic, CrowdStrike, startups like CloudZero have said that when they transact through Marketplace, it actually speeds up the procurement for the end customer. Further, CloudZero has indicated that Beacon Marketplace actually helps them scale their business globally. In addition, when an end customer buys your software solution on AWS Marketplace, our field rep for that end customer actually retires quota and is also entitled to additional cash incentives when their end customer purchases your solution on Marketplace. Also, AWS Marketplace has a propensity to buy model to prioritize those opportunities and score those opportunities, which again helps the sales team to accelerate those opportunities and really focus in on those opportunities. And finally, AWS Marketplace actually has customer advisors embedded in our field. These customer advisors are very knowledgeable in Marketplace. They help the customers, and they also recommend your software solutions to those end customers. At this point, I would like to transition to Andy Varhola to talk a little bit more in detail about how to engage with our field team.
Thanks, Sabina. Now we're going to dive into engaging with the AWS account teams, and we're also going to talk about how AWS is structured. We have both a commercial team and we have a public sector team, so for the purposes of today, we're just going to discuss engagement with our commercial team. So the sales engagement with AWS is always working backwards from the customer. I think everybody knows about our peculiar ways, and in particular, how we're always looking to drive the long-term success for our customers. So what we've done is to drive this customer success, we've built an organization to support the motion with our ISV partners. So if you look to the left of the slide, it all starts with AWS Partner Network. This is our partner organization. So this is where the ISV partner works with their partner development manager, their partner solution architect, and those other team members to specifically drive what you're working with AWS on. As we move closer to the customer, that is where we have the AWS account teams that are part of the sales org. So every end customer at AWS has various roles that include an account manager, a solution architect, an inside sales rep, and an ISV success manager. These ISV success managers are the sales specialists that focus on the joint solutions that we have with our ISV partners. They're aligned completely with the field, so they sit in region as they're working with our account teams and our end customers. So if you haven't had an opportunity to work with the ISV success managers yet, we highly recommend that you connect with those team members to drive your success with the AWS field. We also have marketplace resources. This includes the marketplace business development managers. This includes marketplace customer advisors. And these marketplace customer advisors work with the account teams and with the end customers to position the value of marketplace. Our machinery also includes our marketing and demand generation. So these would be the team members that would run those campaigns to help us fill the funnel and build that joint pipeline together. So we have two primary motions that we work with our ISV partners. The first motion is the partner-originated opportunities that the ISV shares with AWS. The second motion is the AWS-originated opportunities where AWS sources an opportunity and shares it with our ISV partners. But what is foundational and what is fundamental to both of these motions is ACE. And ACE is the APN Customer Engagement Tool. This is the tool that we use to engage our sales teams together. We do this to ensure that we always keep our data in sync and that we don't have gaps. Secondly, we always use this to manage our opportunity pipeline to ensure that we're sharing visibility and sharing the data and customer successes successfully. And lastly, in case we need any kind of support related to any opportunities or any kind of customer, this is where we find that data, and this is also what we use ACE for. So ACE is absolutely critical to our mutual success, and this is also how we assign opportunities and hold our various teams accountable within this centralized system. So where can AWS help? The first area that we look at is that deal acceleration. And what this means is this just means, are we doing everything jointly that we possibly can to advance that opportunity within that customer account? Next, we always look for areas that we can expand within a given account. This could include finding additional contacts or looking to different business units within a given account to cross-sell and upsell or expand our mutual opportunities together. And of course, as we work together within any given customer or territory or district, we will also naturally share more information that we can expand into further account plans. Lastly, AWS can help offset POC, migration costs, provide different funding to help move opportunities forward too. So these are some of the ways that AWS will participate in the co-selling motions with the ISV partners. So our AWS field teams have various factors that motivate them to co-sell with our ISV partners. First and foremost, since we're always working backwards from the customers, we're always looking to drive that customer value, and working with ISVs helps drive better business outcomes for our AWS end customers. It also gives us the opportunity to grow the value and accelerate customer adoption of both the AWS platform and the ISV solution to get them using AWS faster. The AWS account teams also carry goals not only to drive consumption, but also related to joint launched opportunities with our ISV partners. And associated with these goals are incentives that provide additional financial benefit to account managers and to the inside sales reps. So what should we both know before we engage our account teams? Remember, AWS is customer obsessed, and since we're always working backwards from the customers, we're not necessarily moving forwards from a product. So always know the customer initiative, need, or problem that we're trying to mutually address together. Next, we need to enable our sales teams, and this is both for both AWS and the ISVs. We should both know our better together story and why we're partnering on this specific opportunity and within this specific account. Lastly, we want to own the opportunity. So what do we mean when we say own the opportunity? This simply means that we're connected and we know who's doing what to drive this opportunity forward. As our model has continued to grow and evolve, we have ISVs across every single segment that have had co-selling success with AWS. So a couple of examples of this are Orca Security and Databricks, where they've leveraged the AWS ISV Accelerate program to accelerate their wins in the field, and they've expanded their own resources and noted the expansion of the AWS resourcing to drive this co-selling out in the field. Likewise, for ISVs like Seek and Redix, they've been able to leverage Marketplace as a channel, and they've also been able to take advantage of the incentives that AWS has put in place to drive that collaboration out in the field. And while we're on the subject of how some of our ISV partners are co-selling with AWS, we've got Mike Moss from MongoDB to describe his experience with working with the AWS teams.
Thanks, Andy. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Moss, and I lead MongoDB's global partner field sales organization. I'm excited to be part of today's discussion on how MongoDB, a disruptor in the application data platform market, is accelerating growth through our AWS partnership. MongoDB's got about 100 partner sellers tightly engaged with their AWS counterparts with a focus on identification of new, accelerating and growing existing opportunities, all with the goal of mutual success. I'll admit, though, and talk a little more later, it didn't start out so smooth. It was initially quite painful for both of us to get off the ground. We learned some hard lessons, but we quickly came to a good place. We drive revenue together, and at the end of the day, we make a lot of money for each other. So let's jump right in. So what do the MongoDB sellers think about co-selling with AWS? First, MongoDB makes it really easy to work with complex data, so we usually start our sales process at the developer level. We work our way up from there. So AWS very often has long-standing executive, line of business, and technical relationships. So the MongoDB sellers are very keen to leverage those relationships, quickly get higher in the organization, and build champions faster. Second, the AWS solution architects are viewed as trusted advisors and key to helping customers understand the technical value of the solution. They're able to quickly help technical buyers understand why the document model is the best way to work with data on AWS, driving more consumption so everybody's happy. When we layer on programs like WMP Workload Migration Program or MAP Migration Acceleration Program, the MongoDB sellers can accelerate and drive bigger deals, all while reducing risk, which I'll talk about in a few moments. So what do our customers tell us? While MongoDB is rapidly becoming a household name, the AWS brand and customer spend is still significantly larger. Customers feel better when both MongoDB and AWS are in the boat with them, paddling together through the choppy waters of complex cloud migrations. So when we talk to customers and we ask them the top of their priorities, risk mitigations always ranks at the highest levels. So leveraging these migration services funded through WMP or MAP ensures a higher level of success, which customers sleep better at night with. Marketplace is always a key focus. Being able to procure and consume MongoDB Atlas through the AWS Marketplace simplifies billing and helps clients draw down against their existing EDP commits. So while we have many examples of where this partnership works, I think we've done approximately 600 transactions with AWS so far this year, 420 to 450-ish through the AWS Marketplace. Let's spend a few minutes talking about a leading tax automation software company. This is an existing MongoDB customer who was struggling with their legacy SQL-based solution. The rigidity of their relational database slowed the development and release cycles, essentially imposing a tax on innovation. Simply lifting and shifting to the cloud wasn't enough to deliver a higher performance solution, better CSAT scores with their customers, or even a better TCO. So the customer kicked off a true modernization initiative to migrate their legacy SQL Server environment to MongoDB on Atlas. The MongoDB seller first engaged their AWS counterpart to build a better together strategy. They mapped out a joint business and technical champion plan, including known objectors, competitive threats, and so forth. They built a workload migration funding strategy for co-sponsored migration services to reduce those risks we talked about earlier, and a marketplace strategy to burn against the customer's existing EDP. In the end, we more than doubled the size of our starting deal. We delivered a more performant solution, removing the complexity of their relational databases. We gave them a path to provide higher CSAT scores with their customers, and we kept the procurement team happy because they were able to significantly decrement their existing EDP. We continue today to work closely with the AWS team to tee up our next big deal together. So, what's my advice? How can we learn from where we came from? So the first thing I would say is get with your AWS counterpart as early as possible in the sales cycle. Don't wait. Build the strategy early. Second, be direct and upfront on your asks and your perspective on how to make this a mutual win for both the AWS team and your team, right? The definition of a partnership is bi-directional. So be upfront, strategize and build it together for a mutual win. Customers are comfortable spending and talking big numbers with AWS. So go big together. Don't be afraid to put something together that might be out of your comfort zone. Take those risks. Always leverage your programs that are available to you, whether it's workload migration, whether it's MAP. Use these strategically. They're great conversation starters, and they're great tools to mitigate risk. Never leave your ISV manager in the dark. They're invested in your success. They can help you navigate those sometimes complex AWS waters. ACE. Put everything in ACE. The AWS team are keen to understand what's going on, how it progresses. They're motivated by what you put in ACE, so use it as a tool to leverage and keep everyone in the know. Marketplace is a key driver. Use Marketplace to talk to your customers, leverage additional funding sources, and make deals happen. And as mentioned earlier, take advantage of the AWS solution architects. They're your best and fastest way to tech validation on your architecture. So listen, I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me today. I hope this was beneficial. My contact details will follow. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And thank you again.